I'm Lori Clairhout at laurieclairhout.com, and I'm here today with my friend Gemma Stone at gemmastone.org. Welcome.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
We're here to talk about whims. Now,
Mm.
Gemma, tell me, what is a whim to you?
Hmm. I think that in the cleanest form, a whim is an unexpected turn. And we were just chatting about how whims can feel different. And we began this conversation around how, for me, sometimes whims feel like I'm a feather floating on the wind, and I just kind of have a gentle breeze comes by and shifts me in a different direction. It feels very light and airy and inspired. And I was trying to find a metaphor for the other way that whims feel for me. And I think the one that feels right in this moment is that it's almost like you're doing an intricate dance with the universe, and she spins you around in a whole bunch of circles and you lose your way. And then you find out that you're pointing it in a new direction. And it feels almost like still unexpected, possibly still spontaneous, but there's more force to it. There's more, it's more like this is the way to go, and there's more clarity and there's more certainty, and there's, whereas I feel like when I'm in that light feathery type of whimsy, it's there's maybe more freedom, there's maybe more possibility, there's maybe more I can choose to resist the breeze if I want. And I feel like the whims come from maybe from my soul or from the universe. They still feel like they're off the path of what I predicted. So they feel whimsical, or they feel more like a whim. I see whimsical and whim as different. But there's a different vibe to it. There's a different vibe. And right now I'm in the season of my life where the universe is spinning me around, and the whims are coming hard and strong and fast, and it's not something that I've been in this capacity before. But I'm like, I love the, maybe the unknown, the unexpected, the uncertainty about what whim is going to come into my day, and how will my life look different as a result.
And so when a whim arrives like that, what do you do? Is there a moment of decision making? Should I go with it?
Mm.
Or is there no thinking and you're gone?
Yeah, I would say that at this time in my life, I'm just more like I surrender and I just trust. Previously, my head would have kicked in and I would have analyzed it, and I would have said, well, this is where my whim is pointing me. And what about this? What about this? What about this? Like, gather the facts, make a plan, pick the thing that's most logical, and do that. And historically, that has been tragically bad when I try to control it. Like when whims come in and I force a different way, it doesn't work out very well. So probably through bumps and bruises and lessons and hopefully a little wisdom, now I surrender and just trust, even though my head might not like where that whim is pointing me. If I don't listen to that soulful call, life just gets harder. And I'm maybe not harder. There's more suffering. And in the current stage of my life, I'd like to opt out of suffering as much as possible.
I agree. Hell yes. Less suffering, more joy. Now, can you tell me, so you've been talking about very immediately, in this short, tight little while, you've had many whims coming and following them. Can you talk about either your right now or maybe a time in the past when you followed a whim and what happened?
Mm. Yeah, so I'll give maybe two examples, one to illustrate both of the feelings. So the first one would be actually when we were together in Athabasca writing, and I didn't have anything, like, it was sort of a bit of a structured writing experience where most people came with an idea about what they wanted to write, or at least what they wanted to create, and I didn't. So it was a whim to say yes to that. I had no strategy. I had no like direct purpose in being there. And throughout the writing process, it felt like that feather being blown on the wind to point me in the direction of the Great Life celebration. And so I was writing about something very, very different. And then all of a sudden, I found myself kind of blown in a new direction. And from that place, the Great Life celebration was born. And it turned out to be, a beautiful party in the castle in the
Very
Rocky
good.
Mountains. And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like so great, so
Yeah.
great. So I had no concept of that, no plan, no strategy. It wasn't even something that was on the radar. And then all of a sudden the wind blew and I was there. And
Mm.
it just felt light. It
Mm-hmm.
felt like freedom. And so that was more of like the light, um, a breath of air pushes me in a direction of a beautiful dream, and then that comes true. Currently, I'm trying to think of a current example that brings me around. Um, yeah. What's an example? Well, we'll stay with the Great Life theme. So this year, at the Great Life redesign, I usually lock in for the next year. Like my head is like, okay, here's the strategy. This is the business plan. Give people dates, like let them sign up. And my head like kind of, makes it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And this year it felt like, no, it felt like that's not the way. And it was very last minute because most of the time at the retreat is when I booked the dates for the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, I sat down with with my coordinators at the Banff Springs and was like, not this year. I'm not locking it in this year. I don't know why. I have no good reason. It's probably a pretty shitty business move, but I don't want to do it. And it just doesn't like, it was like the universe like sat me down and I had this plan in place
Mm-hmm.
and then this whim of like, I changed my mind. I'm not doing this anymore.
Ah.
um, and what spun from that is a lot of other whims where it's like, well, maybe like this and maybe that, and sort of like exploring all these things and really feeling like the universe is, she's like spinning me and spinning me and spinning me. I have no idea where I'm going to end up looking when I'm done, or when she's done with me. Um, and through that whole spinning process, so much got spun out. And I think sometimes that's the purpose of a whim is
Mm-hmm.
to push us in a direction that maybe we didn't, or spin out something that is no longer in alignment. And when we disregard that and when we force our way based on what our ego wants or what our head wants, then we end up in a contract we don't want to be in, or we end up committing to something that just feels old maybe.
Mm-hmm.
um,
I love that. I love
yeah
that
so,
image too.
yeah.
I've got the image of the spinning and old stuff going out and the new stuff kind
Mm-hmm.
of coming in and lifting you. You mentioned the lightness of the first. It just kind of came and it felt light and it felt good and it became, very, very good. I know this from having been there. It's very good. I love that you're listening. That in those moments when you're sitting there with your organizers at the Banff Springs Hotel, very nice hotel, very committed staff, a high service, and as you are, and in those moments, knowing, no, it's okay to back
Mm-hmm.
away from this moment, knowing that you can come back, and knowing that the next
Mm-hmm.
thing, the other thing, can be equally as very, very good. Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. And I'm so looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to hearing where your next whims are taking you. So thank you. Thank you so much for talking
Yeah.
whims today.
Yes. Yes. You're
Ah,
most welcome.
any last words on whims?
Mm, I just, my sense is that they're worthy of extensive consideration.
Mm,
That when you feel the pull of your heart or your soul or the breath of air or the universe spinning you around, you can override that if you want to, and it's worthy of your extensive consideration.
I love it. I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome, love.